As the Arctic permafrost cracks open, it's revealing something downright surreal. Prehistoric creatures frozen in time, emerging in astonishing condition. We're talking fur still intact, organs preserved, and in some cases, actual liquid blood. These aren't old fossils, they're snapshots of life from a world that vanished long before humans ever showed up. Many of these remains belong to species that vanished with the Ice Age, their bodies sealed beneath the earth for tens of thousands of years. Now, thanks to Mother Nature's deep freeze, we're face to face with beasts that once ruled ancient landscapes. From a perfectly preserved Ice Age foal to a saber-toothed predator frozen mid-snarl, these discoveries don't just blow minds, they rewrite history. Here are 15 frozen creatures so unreal, they might as well have come from another world. Number 1546, 000, year-old living worms. Beneath 30 meters of frozen Siberian soil, buried inside what was once an ancient squirrel's burrow, two microscopic worms sat still for over 46,000 years. In 2018, scientists thawed out the permafrost samples, expecting dead cells, maybe some bacteria. What they got was movement. These nematodes didn't just twitch. They woke up, started feeding, and even reproduced. One of them, now named Panagrolimus colimensis, turned out to be an entirely new species. Not just a relic of the Ice Age, but a living time traveler that cracked open biology textbooks and tossed the rules aside. They had survived using a process called cryptobiosis, a full-body shutdown that lets an organism endure extreme cold, no oxygen, no food, nothing. This wasn't a fluke. It was proof that life, even something so small and overlooked, can outweigh time itself. That discovery forced scientists to rethink everything from cryogenic preservation to the possibility of life frozen on other planets. Two worms, 46,000 years, and now they're crawling again. Number 14, Lena horse foal. In a place known as the gateway to the underworld, Siberia's Betagake crater offered up a foal so preserved it could pass as a taxidermy project until you realize it's 42,000 years old. Unearthed in 2018, this tiny Lena horse, just over 3 feet tall, had drowned shortly after birth and was quickly swallowed by freezing mud. That mud became ice, and that ice became its tomb. Scientists found intact fur, internal organs, and even liquid blood still trapped inside the body. Everything from its glossy brown coat to its eyelashes remained untouched. It looked more asleep than extinct. What followed wasn't just awe, it was action. Researchers attempted to clone the species using modern horse DNA and this foal's preserved cells, hoping to resurrect a vanished breed. Whether that works or not, this find gave scientists their first complete look at a prehistoric horse's biology, from structure to blood composition. The Lena foal didn't just survive time, it became its own Ice Age monument. Number 13, prehistoric wolf pup. Zur didn't survive long in her world, but she outlived everyone in it. Found in 2016 near Dawson City in Canada's Yukon, this Ice Age wolf pup was barely 6 weeks old when the roof of her den collapsed. That tragic moment sealed her in permafrost, perfectly preserving her for 57,000 years. Zur's tiny body still had fur, skin, whiskers, and even toe pads intact, details so crisp you could almost count every hair. Scientists discovered that her lineage didn't match today's wolves. Her ancestors were part of a now extinct branch of the wolf family tree. Isotope analysis showed her mother likely fed on aquatic prey, something rarely associated with Ice Age predators. It hinted at behavior more complex than previously imagined. Zur wasn't just a pup. She was a link to a predator that hunted salmon, adapted to the north, and vanished before modern wolves ever took their place. She never got to grow up, but in her silence, she told a whole story. Number 12, the frozen missing link. It had a glass case, a block of ice, and a face that looked part man, part monster. In the 1960s, the Minnesota Iceman toured across the US and rolled out like a freak show attraction, but what made it different was who came to see it. Not just curious families, but actual scientists. In 1968, cryptozoologist Bernard Heuvelmans and biologist Ivan Sanderson examined the body and publicly claimed it was a new species, Homo pungoides, a possible link between modern humans and extinct relatives. The creature had a smashed face, odd limb proportions, and hair covering its body. It didn't look fake. It looked frozen. But as more people started asking questions, the story fell apart. Its owner changed the backstory repeatedly. Vietnam, Siberia, Japan, each version more suspicious than the last. Eventually, investigators concluded it was likely a rubber model, maybe a Hollywood prop. Still, decades later, conspiracy theories linger. Was the original swapped out? Was there ever a real body at all? The truth, no one knows. Number 11. The Etherican Bear. When reindeer herders stumbled upon a frozen corpse near the Bolshoi Etherican River in 2020, they weren't expecting a creature with fur still clinging to its back and organs barely changed by time. What they found wasn't the legendary cave bear everyone hoped for, but something just as wild. A brown bear that had died 3,500 years ago, preserved so perfectly that its last meal, bird feathers and half-digested plants, was still inside its stomach, its spine crushed, most likely by a slab of collapsing permafrost that sealed it in an icy tomb. But here's where things get stranger. The bear's final resting place was on an island nearly 50 kilometers from the mainland, with no clear answer on how it got there. Some say it crossed during a freeze, others wonder if the land itself shifted. Regardless, it sat frozen through centuries of silence, until the ice gave way and revealed a moment of prehistory so detailed, it reads more like a paused documentary than a fossil dig. What do you think about this creature? Is it cute? Number 10. The cave lion cubs. We've talked a lot about this ice fin. The Siberian permafrost didn't just hold bones, it held cubs. In 2017, researchers uncovered Sparta, a 28,000-year-old cave lion cub still wrapped in her thick Ice Age fur. Her body was so pristine, it looked like she had died just days before, not tens of thousands of years ago. Sparta wasn't alone either. Another cub, Boris, was found nearby, but Sparta's body was in far better shape, showing even muscle structure and fine facial details. Scientists believe she was buried quickly by a landslide or sudden mud collapse, preserving her before decay could even begin. These cave lions weren't just oversized cats. They were top predators of their time, bigger than modern African lions, and built for sub-zero hunts. Sparta's discovery gave researchers new insights into Ice Age ecosystems, predator evolution, and how climate shifts may have wiped out species like hers. She wasn't just a cub, she was a queen in waiting, silenced mid-roar yet speaking volumes through her perfectly frozen frame. Number 9. Frozen saber-toothed cat. It wasn't the hulking Smilodon most people picture and see in the Ice Age movie. It was smaller, faster, and in this case barely 3 weeks old. In 2020, deep in Siberian frost, researchers unearthed the first preserved saber-toothed cat cub ever discovered. Not a skeleton, not a bone shard. An actual Ice Age predator with fur, whiskers, and lips still holding secrets. This wasn't the Smilodon of Hollywood fame either. It was Homotherium latidens, the scimitar-toothed cat, sleeker, built for speed. And most surprisingly, it didn't flash its fangs like the old textbook illustrations promised. The cub's lip structure suggested those deadly teeth were mostly hidden when the mouth was closed. Its ears sat lower on the skull, likely an adaptation for sub-zero hunts, and its thick coat told the rest of the story. This wasn't a tropical hunter, it was born into blizzards. This kitten died before its claws were ever bloodied, but its preserved body flipped centuries of assumptions upside down. Even in death, it refused to be ordinary. Number 8. The baby woolly rhino. Sasha was small, but her story hit hard. In 2015, a hunter in the Yakutia region found what looked like a sleeping calf curled in the snow, except this wasn't any modern creature. Sasha was a baby woolly rhino, frozen in pristine condition for more than 34,000 years. Unlike brittle Ice Age fossils, Sasha still had her skin, her fur, even traces of her final meals. Adult woolly rhino bones had shown up before, scattered and fragmented, but never a baby. This one changed everything. Scientists finally had a chance to study how these Ice Age beasts grew, how they handled freezing climates from birth, and what genetic markers set them apart. Sasha's DNA helped rewrite the evolutionary path of woolly rhinos, and yes, there was even talk of cloning. But the truth is, Sasha didn't need to be brought back to leave a mark. Her tiny body, frozen in time, offered something rarer than resurrection, real answers from a world no longer here. Number 7. The frozen, mid-flight. Somewhere between life and extinction, this bird got caught. In 2020, beneath layers of Siberian permafrost, researchers pulled out the body of a horned lark, wings folded, feathers untouched, beak still sharp. It wasn't fossilized. It hadn't decomposed. It looked like it had just nosedived into the snow and never hit the ground. But the reality? Well, it's mind-blowing. This bird had been dead for 46,000 years. That's Ice Age territory. And yet its preservation was so freakish that scientists could analyze its DNA like it had died yesterday. The horned lark still exists today, but this ancient version had subtle differences, slightly altered feathers, different sizes, a glimpse into what evolution does with time and pressure. Most birds vanish into dust. They're fragile, short-lived, and rarely fossilized well. That's what made this discovery so rare. One frozen bird, perfectly caught mid-extinction, gave researchers a side-by-side comparison of past and present in a way textbooks never could. No myth, no guesswork, just wings, time, and ice. Number 6. A mammoth mystery. Yucca didn't die peacefully. That much is clear. When her 39,000-year-old body was pulled from Siberian ice in 2010, it looked like the usual mammoth discovery: intact fur, preserved organs, even a brain. But this one had something different: knife marks. Deep, deliberate slices along her body told a darker story. Someone, or something, had cut into her. This wasn't scavenging, it was surgical. And that set off alarm bells in the scientific world. Was this the first clear evidence of humans interacting with mammoths? Had Ice Age hunters butchered her for meat and left the rest to freeze? Or had they found her already dead and simply used the frozen earth as a natural fridge? Theories spread fast. One even suggested that early humans used Yucca as an ice locker, returning later to collect her piece by piece. Either way, she became more than a preserved mammoth. She became a murder mystery sealed in permafrost. Every cut, every preserved nerve, whispering a story from a world that vanished in snow. Now, let's move to number 5. A tattooed time traveler. In the high, wind-lashed Altai mountains, buried beneath layers of ice and silence, lay a woman untouched by 2,500 years. When archaeologists uncovered her in 1993, they didn't just find a body, they found a story inked into skin. Known as the Siberian Ice Maiden, her arms bore elegant tattoos, curving animal shapes and mythical beasts, preserved with such clarity they could be drawn anew. Her burial was ceremonial, even sacred. Fine felt garments, intricate jewelry, and 6 sacrificed horses surrounded her, suggesting status far beyond ordinary. Later scans revealed advanced breast cancer, raising questions about her role. Was she a shaman? A healer, someone revered for carrying pain with dignity? Locals weren't thrilled by her removal. Earthquakes followed. Some say it was a coincidence. Others call it a curse. Today she lies in a museum, wrapped in climate control and controversy. But one thing's certain, those tattoos weren't just decoration. They were marks of meaning, identity, and a mystery still waiting to speak. Number 4. The ancient bison. In the remote cold of northern Siberia, where time slows to a crawl and winter never truly leaves, scientists unearthed a steppe bison so intact it felt like the creature had just laid down to rest. That was 2011. Its heart, brain, and circulatory system were still in place. Muscles were firm, skin still tough. This wasn't a fossil, it was a full body, preserved by the same ice that silenced mammoths and cave lions. Steppe bison once ruled Ice Age landscapes, stretching from Eurasia to North America. Their sheer size and resilience made them icons of survival, until they vanished. And then in 2022, another was found, 8,000 years old with tissues nearly as fresh. These weren't isolated incidents, they were warnings. The past is waking up. Researchers have since extracted viable DNA, raising the question no one's ready to answer should they come back. Whether that happens or not, these bison offer something rarer than resurrection, evidence in flesh and blood that extinction doesn't always mean gone. Number 3. The best preserved mammoth. Luba didn't just die, she paused history. Discovered in 2007 along a Siberian riverbank, this baby mammoth, frozen for 42,000 years, remains the most complete mammoth ever found. Everything was there: skin, muscle, reddish-brown hair, even the contents of her stomach. She wasn't fossilized or flattened. She looked heartbreakingly whole, like she'd stumbled and never got back up. Scientists believe she drowned in mud, her small lungs filled with sediment before the freezing began. It was tragic, but that moment preserved her in a way nature rarely allows. Her body helped researchers understand mammoth immune systems, infant development, ice age diets, and the cold adaptation coded into their DNA. Luba's cells have since been studied for cloning possibilities, because if any mammoth could be brought back, it's her. But whether that happens or not, she's already reshaped what we know about her kind. Luba isn't just a relic, she's a reminder that the Earth still keeps secrets, buried, breathing, and waiting under layers of silence and ice. Number 2. A frozen graveyard. At first, it looked like the aftermath of a massacre, feathers, bones, and eggshells scattered across the frozen ground. But this wasn't modern carnage, this was Cape Irizar, Antarctica, in 2016, where researchers found the remains of an entire Adelie penguin colony that hadn't seen life for over 5,000 years. These birds hadn't just died, they had been sealed in time. Many still had feathers clinging to their skin, some with beaks intact, their bodies mummified by cold and dryness instead of decay. Scientists realized they had stumbled onto a prehistoric graveyard, exposed as melting ice peeled back layers of forgotten history. Shifts in wind and sea ice likely wiped the colony out in a single catastrophic event, followed by centuries of burial. And now, as Antarctica's ice retreats, scenes like this are surfacing more often. It's not just bones coming up from the cold, it's entire forgotten ecosystems resurfacing, echoing a past that had been perfectly still until the thaw began. Number 1. The hibernating squirrel. Curled into a tight ball, as if still waiting for spring, the small bundle of fur looked almost ordinary. But this was no modern rodent. Found in Canada's Yukon Territory, this Ice Age ground squirrel had been frozen in mid-slumber for over 30,000 years. Its body was so well preserved that even the texture of its fur and the shape of its tiny claws remained untouched by time. X-rays confirmed what its posture already hinted at. This creature had been in hibernation when something went wrong. Maybe a collapse sealed the burrow. Maybe the cold hit harder than expected. Whatever it was, it locked the squirrel in place, undisturbed for millennia. Unlike giant predators or legendary megafauna, this wasn't a beast, it was a whisper of ordinary life. The kind of creature that scurried through grasses while mammoths thundered past. And somehow, it's this tiny moment frozen in stillness that feels more human than any ancient roar. A single silent pause in deep time, perfectly preserved. If you found this video interesting, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.